How's it going, guys? Got some, finally got those tie rod ends to be used as ball joints. Finally came in the mail. Took like 3 weeks. Seems like there's, U.S. sellers on eBay that's actually selling. I mean, of course, this stuff's probably made in China, but they're selling stuff that they don't actually have on hand. They order it as they sell it, which is kind of annoying. And then they promise shipping that doesn't happen. But anyways, got this super long tie rod ends. I'll get one out of the bag so you can see it better. This is a Monza inner, 1970s Monza inner tie rod. So it has left-handed threads, and I'm using these for upper and lower ball joints. And got these at a local place. They're left-handed 5/8 18 nuts. They're not machined yet. I gotta cut off the old ball joints, and I gotta get measurements on there. But either way, we can mock it up, and I can cut off those ends, put the arms on, put the ball joints in, and I think I might mock up the shocks today. And basically I got to do the front end of this machine before I can do anything with the back, because you got to have a ride height of what this is going to be. So the back can pretty much be put in anywhere it needs to be, because nothing's made. Using this pre-existing, I don't want to have the thing squatting in the back. So I'm going to work on that today. Something else I'd like to mention. That steering unit I got out of the tractor, cleaned it all up real nice, and kind of figuring out that, okay, this piece right here is just a stop. It's just a limit on how far it can go. And this piece is a hinging point. And these two pieces are exactly the same part. So, this one here was wore out. This one here was still like brand new. So I just swapped them out and got rid of a lot of play there. And the problem with this thing was all wobbly. There's a bronze bushing down in here, and it wasn't even like resting on this metal. So I drilled a washer out to 3/4 of an inch, same size as the shaft. Put a washer in the bottom, and whenever you fasten it together, it's now sandwiching. So pretty much, as that bronze bushing wears, this right here is kind of like spring loading down against it, so it'll have a certain amount of wear and be able to like adjust to the wear for a while. And then to get kind of all the wobbliness out of it, I put a washer on top and welded it on. You can still get it all apart, and I'll, before I call it finished, I'll pre-paint it and grease it all up. But I'm going to leave it in its metal shininess to mock it up. And pretty much I'm looking at this thing will mount in here like this, and a drag link would go from here to the steering stem, and then U-joints off to the steering wheel off of there. So I'm hoping that I don't have much trouble with the arms and stuff and being in my way, the A-arms. But I think it'll go. But I'll get started on cutting those old ball joints off. So I got the ball joints cut off and everything stuck in here. You see here that it is wide enough, based on the frame behind the wheel. But I have to take these arms back off and try to grind the face of the arm so it's true to the back. And also these nuts are going to have a journal cut on them so that they kind of sit down inside of the arm. Because the problem is, right now when you tighten them up, they're following this crooked cut because there's a space inside here that they're not filling, and so they, when you tighten it down, they kind of want to walk around wherever, however the crooked cut is. So I already, did stuff like this on a 300EX, and that's what I came to the conclusion was that it needed, and that's what I did, was machine these nuts. One thing that's going to be kind of difficult with machining these nuts is that to put them in a lathe, it's kind of nice to have a bolt to put them on, to turn that edge. I might be able to put one of these ball joints in the lathe, but it's not really perfect all the way around either. As far as like putting it in a 3-jaw that just automatically just comes down, and closes evenly against something, it kind of depends on how the surface is that you're coming down on. But I think this will, this is going to work. The only thing about this is, in the same way with the 4-wheeler, when you buy longer arms, this is kind of the equivalent of longer arms. If you hit a tree, it's going to total this thing out, because all the leverage that it has now, if you hit a tree, it's going to be so much more of an impact on it. It would just take this frame and bend it all to crap. This machine is going to just run around a field, so it's not going to be, there's no trees or anything. It could possibly run into the building or something, and total it, but I'll just have to stress that to the kids that you wreck this, it's done, but it looks kind of funny, but like I said about mounting the shocks in, let's see, where is the shock? Oh, one right here laying on the ground. This location for a shock is not going to work anymore because of how wide it is. There's too much leverage. You'd have to have probably rear shocks of an ATV in here on each side for this to be strong enough. So what I'm going to do is mount the shock up here and weld a mount on here, and that's going to fill the front end out, a lot. Try to make it look, it'll make it look better. I don't think I'm going to be able to use these because, one, there is no adjustment at all, and I'm concerned that they're going to be strong enough for the job. And I have one set of piggybacks. I've showed them before. They kind of have a white spring on them. They're all nice and like silvery, and there's a piggyback reservoir on. I was wanting to save them for the back because I know they would be strong enough for the back. I've used the shocks. I actually have one of the two mounted in the back of a 4-wheeler as a mono, and I had it maxed out as far as adjustment, but it was doing the job. So 2 of them I know I can adjust out to be strong enough. Like I said, I was wanting to use them on the back, but I'm thinking I want to put those on the front, and then I'll just, work on the front and make sure that it's all good, and then I'll just have to figure out something different for the back as far as shocks. Maybe 2 rear shocks of a 4-wheeler, adjusted so that they're on the weakest setting, maybe. I don't know, but it's one thing rough about building stuff like this is shocks. I mean, you could, whenever I do put a mount in here, I'm just going to tack it in. I'm going to tack it on each side, put the shocks in it, and try it out, because it, it's just a rough situation, because they have to be specific. When you buy shocks for something, if they ain't specific, you're taking a gamble on whether or not they're going to work out. And even if you can adjust them up to where they're strong enough, then the more you adjust them up, the dampening diminishes. So I can't really do anything else today with these arms, because here, I'll show you what's going on. See how it's following? It's crooked. This side here isn't as bad, but I really can't do anything else with them until I can doctor those up and machine edges on them. I mean, today we can get around to maybe try to mock up that steering box. So, see what I got with that. Alright, some of the details of the steering. This is going to have to get cut off. I'll probably just, for now, like, generically cut it off right here, just in case I want to put the mount for it, you know, right here or something. It's going to need a drag link welded to it. You know, kind of like this thing, but it'll just be another arm like that with one hole in it, you know, coming off somewhere. Well, it'll be up here, coming off up here. I got new bearing for the bottom, so I'll probably start off, put the bearing in, and then we'll cut this guy off somewhere, and then we'll have an idea. Once this bearing's in there, it'll want to try to run straight somewhere, so it'll kind of give me an idea where that mount needs to go. I think I have a mount here. You know, and then we can work on putting that box thingy in there. I need to figure on the fact that when I put that box in there, I need to have enough room between this drag link and its drag length, or pitman arm. Sorry, pitman arm on here, pitman on, and you know, have enough space in between to put two tie rod ends. Alright, so I got that bearing down in there, and I went to put this down in, and it doesn't want to go in because it's on too much of an angle, because obviously, you know, well, we'll see where it is. This guy here, you know, that holds it, you know, the mounting point that it would have had must have been further back on the machine. So I'm going to have to cut it off right here, no matter what. And you know, I might cut it off just so that it's, you know, just below this, so that way maybe this might end up, I might weld a bracket on the back and kind of tuck it in here somewhere. But I kind of got to figure out that I got to cut it off right there. I can't stick up past any. I was actually kind of surprised with this arm, with this steering shaft ended up being where it was. You know, it's on the back side completely. But doesn't matter, since it's fine. Just had to figure out exactly where it's going to be so that I can mount the this thing in. And you see this kind of coming off at this, you know, angle. So I'm kind of thinking make a mount, you know, a piece of metal that will bolt to this, and then I'll have to grind it so that it kind of wraps around this bar a little bit, and I'll weld it up, you know, to kind of start off. You know, and then there's this pitman arm. We'll have to put a pitman arm off of here, and then you know, it's kind of look like that. And then I'll try to stay, you know, the arm I'll make on here, the center of its hole, I'll try to keep it so that it's about the same distance from here, so it doesn't change the ratios of the steering. Hopefully, you know, it'll be as long, the arm I'm going to put on here will be as long, about as long as this one. And then you know, this is kind of aiming off the right direction, but yeah, we'll see what I can do with that. I'm pretty limited with tools here. It's like living in two different places. The garage is 14 miles away, and you know, I needed a hammer. I ain't freaking got a hammer here, so it's kind of rough. So everything I try to do today with, you know, trying to get somewhere with, you know, getting somewhere with this today, I just keep coming across to the realization that I don't have the tools I need. I need a level. I need, you know, like, I can't put the shocks in until those things are done. I don't have a drill bit here. The biggest I have is 3/8, and I don't have bolts, you know, to go through that steering thing, to go through a piece of metal to bolt it up if I had, you know. So I'm just I have to call it a day with this. I'm sorry about dragging this out, but I only have so much time in my life to even work on this. Kind of like my spare time thing, and you know, constantly having to order stuff. But I bought, I'm going to show you guys more anything on this video, just showing you guys some ideas, and you know, but in the past I made tie rod ends out of, I'd actually cut a tie rod end in half and sleeve it and make it longer to what I needed. And got to thinking about aluminum. It's easy to tap, you know, because it'd be soft. And I got all these bars, there's like 10 of them here, for $45 delivered. And they're 18 inches, plenty long enough for this machine. And I have a few other machines that I want to put them on, you know, replace or make, you know, ones for it. There's some other videos I have to post on other projects, but these are Yamaha Raptor tie rod ends, and has a 10mm 1.25 thread. I had to order a tap, 20 bucks for one tap, so that I have a left-handed tap to tap one end of it. And then so yeah, that's what I'm going to use for tie rod ends. I had family, cousins, people at work make comments about that, you know, this ain't gonna be strong enough, and I think it'll be just fine unless you wrecked it. You know, if you wreck it, yeah, it might bend it or rip the threads out of it, but you know, you wreck it, you expect to wreck something. You know, I'm gonna have extras. I have 3 units, so there's 2 bars for each unit. So I'll have some extras if I ever have to replace them. And it's kind of a lightweight option too. This is a 5/8 bars. But I guess I'll catch you guys later. I can't really do anything with this, and it's kind of cold out here. It's like 30s, mid 30s, and I just, you know, it just kind of keeps sneaking up my back, and it's just annoying. So, you know, try to do something with this later.